Good morning, beloveds. Welcome to today's devotional. Today we are going to continue to talk about exceedingly growing faith. And I'm going to read out of 2 Thessalonians 1 verse 3 again, and today out of a Passion Translation. And there it reads, we feel a personal responsibility to continually be thanking God for you, our spiritual family, every time we pray. And we have every reason to do so because your faith is growing marvelously beyond measure. The unselfish love each of you share for one another is increasing and overflowing. May that be said of us today too as a church and as believers, that we are also increasing beyond measure in our faith and in our love for one another. But today I want to give you some reasons why it's important to grow exceedingly in faith. And the first reason is because without faith it is impossible to please God. Hebrews 11:6 says, but without faith it is impossible to please Him. See, as we established yesterday, faith is what gives us access into the promises of God and the grace of God. And God is not pleased if we aren't experiencing His promises. He is not pleased if we aren't living the abundant life. And that is why it is impossible to please Him without faith. The second reason is faith is necessary to experience the supernatural. In Mark 9:23 it says, Jesus said to him, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. Notice Jesus didn't say all things are possible to everyone, full stop. He said all things are possible to him who believes. See, if we want to experience all the wonderful things that God has for us, we need to believe Him. Our faith needs to grow exceedingly. The next reason why it's important to grow exceedingly in faith is because it is how the just and the righteous live. In Romans 1 verse 17 it says, the righteous will live by faith. Notice that the righteous doesn't visit faith, they live by faith. And that is us today as believers in Jesus. We aren't righteous because of our own good works. Jesus is our righteousness. And it says there, the righteous, those who are made right with God through Jesus, will live by faith. And to live by faith simply means that we live with an awareness of seeing God as our source in life. God is our source and He's the source of all good things in life. Sometimes people will say, well, I don't have medical aid and I don't have insurance because I live by faith. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but personally I do have medical aid and I do have insurance and I also live by faith. So living by faith doesn't mean that we don't do certain things and we trust God just in those areas, but living by faith means regardless of the things that we have or don't have, we see God as our source and we trust in Him as our source. But I hope today you realize that faith is important, and it is important that we grow exceedingly in our faith. Tomorrow we're going to start talking about things that will help us to grow exceedingly in our faith. Remember, you are highly favored and deeply loved.